Hey guys, welcome to my next YouTube video. This is season 1, episode 2 on the awareness series. And today we are talking about sacrifice, which I believe is the next stage of awareness. Like once you become aware that you've been living your life on autopilot, so let's say, and it doesn't need to be your whole life, it can be an aspect of your life. For example, I was coaching a pharmacy owner. He has 3 pharmacies. He's planning to build a hospital and he's got loads of dreams, right? And I asked him a question today. The question I asked him was like, what are your goals in terms of your financial goals for the pharmacies? Like how much revenue do they need to be generating so that you don't have to focus on them too much and so that you can focus on other objectives? And this is the first time he became aware of the issue. This is the first time he became aware of that kind of question. He had never thought about that before. And so transformation begins with awareness. And so we are going to be talking about the different things that you need to be aware of and the different things that you need to be letting go of. And yes, I may coach GPs, I may coach pharmacies, but essentially this kind of information that I'm dropping here on the long YouTube videos, it can technically apply to anybody in any situation and any circumstance. So I've got some game to drop on you today, and I hope you find this useful. And so without any further ado, I want to begin and talk about sacrifice. So we all know that sacrifice is an ancient word. We've been sacrificing from the beginning of time. And when we look at sacrifice historically and from an ancient perspective, like even let's say in the Bible or the Quran or the Torah, like when people sacrifice something, they're sacrificing like a lamb or they're sacrificing something that is tangible, right? They're sacrificing something they know for that which they do not know. Like you're letting go of something you enjoy for something that like this may or may not give you a payoff. There's no immediate clear payoff. And like, so for example, like, Abraham would sacrifice like a lamb and stuff, and he would sacrifice a lamb up to God, and he is sacrificing the ephemeral on the altar of the eternal. And in many cases, we have to do something similar, like, and I'll tell my own personal story, but we have to do something very similar when we come to an awareness that we've been living our lives on autopilot. So for me, in my story, I was living my life on autopilot in terms of like, I was being a pharmacist, but I didn't actually enjoy being a clinical pharmacist. And it wasn't something that I found and felt in my heart was my calling, most importantly. And when I became aware that, you know what, this isn't for me, it felt uncomfortable, but I grew that awareness by having the right conversations. And sometimes when you have not sometimes, if you have a coach, they can help you to grow that awareness because you're having those conversations. And they're systematic conversations. But aside from that, I sat down with my mum, I sat down with my family, and I traced a genealogy of how I grew up. I traced, what was I good at, what was I bad at, and what was I naturally drawn to. And it was public speaking that I was naturally drawn to. And but that's a subject for another day, sort of. But so I became aware and I had conversations and I also started reading. And when it comes to the next stage of growing your awareness, the next stage is really much about sacrifice. It's about letting go. But it's not just about letting go full stop. If we look at how sacrifice has been used and what sacrifice actually is, sacrificing is letting go of something for something else. It's not letting go of something for nothing. That's not sacrifice. That's just letting go. But ultimately, when I realized that I was living my life on autopilot, I started looking at my biggest time wasters, like the things that take the most amount of time. And for me, like it was the Xbox, which is behind me. I used to spend so much of my life just playing Xbox, playing FIFA, playing Assassin's Creed. Like I used to live my life through characters on TV because I felt like their life was better than mine. And that sounds really deep when you think about it, but if you've got someone who's addicted to playing games, most likely it's because unless they're like a gamer and they're making some income off it, like most likely it's because they're like immersed in the life of a character. And in my instance, like the life of the characters were more important, or it felt like their lives were way more important. They're delivering so much huge value in in this journey, like, in Assassin's Creed, you have to save the city, you have to save the institution, you have to protect the policy, you have to protect the people. You're a protector of the people in Assassin's Creed. In football, you're leading a team to the Champions League. These are big things. So in my life, I was like just a pharmacist. And so, like, I realized that I needed to let go. So with the Xbox, I let go of it. And at the end, I'm gonna help you to kind of systematize letting go of things, but we'll get there. And so I let go of the Xbox. It wasn't easy, but I let go. And one key advice for you, if there's something that you're addicted to or something you're spending your time with that you know is not good for you, out of sight is out of mind. If you can get it out of sight, so with me, I put it in the attic. Like, I couldn't see it, didn't see it. It really helped me to stay away from, like, going back to that addiction, going back to that life of like, okay, the Xbox. I needed to channel that time that I had gained from sacrificing the Xbox into growing my awareness further and further and showing up and writing speeches, which is what I started doing. And so like, I also wanted to say that, like, I also dropped my hours as a pharmacist. So I lost money as well, like, because I needed to invest more time into coaching. And I don't recommend this for everybody, but if you're earning, if you know that, like, you can work less days and cover your income and basic expenditure, then this is probably the fastest way to to change things around, so to speak. Like, this is the fastest way to make progress, because you need to allocate time towards the direction you're trying to progress to. And if all you have is 5 p.m. to 9 p.m. after work, then it's not a lot of time, to be fair. But that's not to say it's not enough time. It is enough time. But for me, in my circumstances, I knew that if I could cut a day, I can still, like, I can still manage things, even though, like, I don't go out as much as I used to. I don't have as much as a, I don't go out to restaurants and all those kind of fancy things. I haven't done that in a while. But and I'm still managing to save, my 10% and whatever it is. But the point I'm trying to make is, I let go of something that I didn't need, so that I could start doing more coaching, so that I could start being more of a coach. And that's how essentially I started coaching GP practices. That's how I started coaching, amongst other things, which we'll get into. That's how I started coaching, like, pharmacy teams on the days that I had off, and I was heavily investing my time on social media to deliver a message, to deliver a valuable message to people. So that's what happened essentially. So, like, I cut down my hours, I lost income, but, like, I wanted, in all fairness, I want to disconnect my relationship with time and money. Time is not money. Time is infinitely more valuable than money. So, like, the idea of an hour's job for an hour's pay, I personally disagree with that. I believe that, like, you can earn money whilst you sleep, and that is one of my objectives. But and so, like, it was important for me to kind of disconnect that relationship with money. So, and ultimately, like, even the things that I do at the moment, like, I don't really, like, a lot of the coaching I do it for free, because I'm so passionate about it. And it helps me to stand up on stage and deliver, like, valuable advice, valuable insight to people that they can take home and benefit their own lives. Whether you're in pharmacy or not, or whether you're in GP or not, it doesn't really matter. Like, the information that I gain from coaching people, and the things, the insights that I learn that limits people, is valuable to any industry. It just so happens that, like, I've married my profession with my passion for public speaking. I've found a way to kind of combine the two of these things together, but this required time, it required sacrifice, it required letting go of what I had for what I don't have. And this is the next stage of awareness. Like, once you become aware of something, you need to start letting things go. A book that actually helped me with this philosophy was 10x is easier than 2x by Benjamin Hardy. I will drop the link to that book in this bio, in my bio. And just so you know, like, it's an affiliate link, it's an Amazon affiliate link. So like, it does support the channel when you do purchase, but it was a really useful book because it helps me to realize that I needed to delete certain things so that I can move faster. And I believe that's essentially what's happening in my life at the moment. I've deleted certain things, I've let go of certain things. Now, when it comes to the Xbox, right, and this is something really, really important. So like, to make your sacrifices permanent so you don't go back to those old sacrifices, you need to create systems. So like with the Xbox, what I did with that was essentially me and one of my best friends, his name's Barvik, shout out to Barvik. Me and one of my best friends, we basically created a new group chat WhatsApp called, like, I don't know, Retribution, or yeah, Retribution. And we said, okay, these are the things that we will not do. So we had a list of things and activities that we will not do. And if we did those activities, there's a consequence. So like, so for example, with Xbox, if I played Xbox, then I would have to pay without asking for permission. If I paid Xbox without asking for permission, then I would have to pay somewhere around like £50 and 150, something I just didn't want to pay. And I was like, you know what, fine, leave it. And by doing this, I had created like walls, like mental walls that stopped me from going towards a thing that wasn't serving my purpose. And I really encourage you guys to kind of, if there's anything you take from sacrifice, we need to let go of things, but we need to create systems around things we've let go of so that they don't show up again. Especially for things like things that you actually enjoy doing, but it's technically and deep down, like, you know, it's a complete waste of time. Maybe not a complete waste of time, but like a waste of time. So so yeah, so like, so that would be the next step. This is the next step towards transformation. And next week we will have another aspect of awareness that we'll go into. But number one, you know, first things first, being when you're aware of like that you're on autopilot, it's important that you grow that awareness and that you read more. And then you need to let go. There's certain things you need to let go. This is the next stage of transformation. And transformation begins with awareness. And once you have that awareness, you then start to make the right decisions. You can't, if you can't change something you're not aware of. And so so yeah, I hope you found this video useful, and I will see you guys in the next video. Stay blessed. Peace out.